Christianity has always emphasized preaching the gospel to the whole world. Historically, this was achieved by sending missionaries and the distribution of Bibles and literature. Some Christians realized that radio, beginning in the 1920s, provided a powerful new tool for this task. Radio broadcasts were seen as a complementary activity to traditional missionaries, enabling vast numbers of people to be reached at relatively low cost, but also enabling Christianity to be preached in countries where this was illegal and missionaries were banned. The aim of Christian radio was to both convert people to Christianity and to provide teaching and support to believers. These activities continue today, particularly in the developing world. The Great Depression of the 1930s saw a resurgence of revival tent preaching in the Midwest and South as itinerant preachers drove from town to town living off donations. Several preachers began radio shows as a result of their popularity. One of the first ministers to use radio extensively was S. Parks Caedmon, beginning in 1923. By 1928, Caedmon had a weekly Sunday afternoon broadcast on NBC Radio Network, his powerful oratory reaching a nationwide audience of 5 million persons. Aimee Semple McPherson was another pioneering tent revivalist who soon turned to radio to reach a larger audience. Radio gave her a nationwide notoriety in the 1920s and 30s, and she even built one of the largest megachurches. Other early Christian radio programs broadcasted nationwide in the U.S. included Charles E. Fuller from 1937 to 68, Reverend Ralph Sockman's National Radio Pulpit on NBC receiving 4,000 letters weekly, and Fulton Sheen in 1946 with 3,000 to 6,000 weekly letters. The total radio audience for radio ministries in the U.S. that year was estimated to be 10 million listeners. Although television also began in the 1930s, it did not become widespread until after World War II. Fulton J. Sheen, a Roman Catholic archbishop, successfully switched to television in 1951 after 2 decades of popular broadcast. Time magazine called him the first televangelist. Sheen won numerous Emmy Awards for his program that ran from the early 50s until the late 1960s. Oral Roberts put together the largest broadcast of the time that by 1957 reached 80% of the possible television audience through 135 of the possible 500 stations. The 1960s and early 70s saw television replace radio as the primary home entertainment medium, but also corresponded with a further rise in